It was quick, well-planned, and perfectly executed. Lieutenant Mkhwanazi men in KZN have done another good job once again. SAPS has once again showcased competence at the highest level. What South Africans have always wanted them to do is exactly what they are doing now. The fascinating story of how they tracked down and killed 4 criminals and arrested 7, the tactics used, and the overall approach has left people with nothing but praise and appreciation. Stay with me until the end of the story, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. According to reports, 4 suspects were shot and fatally wounded during a shootout with police at Woodlands in Montclair, south of Durban, on Friday afternoon, January 16, 2026. The incident was not a random encounter or a case of chance policing, but the outcome of focused intelligence work and decisive action by officers who appear determined to change the narrative around crime fighting in the province. Police had received information about suspects wanted for a series of business robberies in and around the eThekwini district. Among the crimes linked to the group was a jewellery store robbery in Tongaat on Thursday, January 15, 2026, an incident that heightened urgency within law enforcement circles. Business robberies of this nature are often carefully planned, violent, and traumatic, leaving lasting scars on victims and communities. The swift response from SAPS suggested that the days of delayed reactions and missed opportunities might be giving way to a more proactive approach. Armed with actionable intelligence, officers moved in on a private residence on Glanville Road. The property, reportedly used as a rental home, had allegedly become a hideout for the suspects. Such locations are frequently chosen because they attract little attention, blending seamlessly into residential neighborhoods. This reality places immense pressure on police to act with precision, as innocent lives are often just meters away from dangerous suspects. When officers approached the residence, an exchange of gunfire erupted. In the chaos that followed, 4 suspects were killed. 7 others were arrested, some sustaining injuries during the confrontation. 3 firearms were recovered at the scene, a detail that further reinforced police assertions that the suspects were heavily armed and prepared to resist arrest. The injured suspects were taken to hospital under police guard and will be brought before court once deemed fit to do so. Beyond the immediate facts of the shootout, what has truly captured public attention is the manner in which the operation unfolded. Many South Africans have grown accustomed to stories of criminals outgunning police, escaping arrests, or benefiting from prolonged investigations that yield little visible outcome. In this case, the narrative was different. The suspects were tracked, confronted, and neutralized in a relatively short space of time, sending a clear message that violent criminal activity will be met with decisive resistance. Public reaction has been largely positive, with many people praising the KwaZulu-Natal SAPS for a job well done. On social media and in community discussions, there has been a noticeable shift in tone from skepticism to cautious optimism. Citizens who have long demanded tougher action against organized crime see this operation as proof that effective policing is possible when leadership, intelligence, and political will align. A significant part of this renewed confidence is attributed to Lieutenant General Onlola Mkhwanazi and his leadership style. Many believe that since his appointment, SAP in KwaZulu-Natal has adopted a more aggressive stance against alleged criminal syndicates. There is a growing perception that networks once thought to be untouchable, allegedly protected by powerful figures, are now under sustained pressure. Whether these perceptions translate into long-term systemic change remains to be seen, but operations like the one in Montclair provide tangible evidence of a shift in approach. The symbolism of the operation is also important. Business robberies, particularly those involving firearms, have a destabilizing effect on local economies. They discourage investment, create fear among workers and customers, and place additional strain on already vulnerable communities. By responding swiftly and effectively, SAPs not only addressed a specific criminal threat, but also sent reassurance to business owners that their safety concerns are being taken seriously. However, the incident also raises complex questions about policing in a country grappling with high levels of violent crime. While many applaud the outcome, others emphasize the importance of accountability, transparency, and adherence to the rule of law. The use of lethal force, even in self-defense or during armed confrontations, is always subject to scrutiny. Ensuring that all operations are conducted within legal and ethical boundaries is essential for maintaining public trust in the long term. What sets this case apart is the apparent clarity of purpose and coordination displayed by the officers involved. The recovery of firearms, the arrest of multiple suspects, and the prevention of further criminal activity suggest that the operation was not merely reactive but part of a broader strategy. This kind of policing requires sustained investment in intelligence gathering, training, and community cooperation, elements that have often been unevenly applied across different regions. What sets this case apart is the apparent clarity of purpose and coordination displayed by the officers involved. The recovery of firearms, the arrest of multiple suspects, and the prevention of further criminal activity suggest that the operation was not merely reactive but part of a broader strategy. This kind of policing requires sustained investment in intelligence gathering, training, and community cooperation, elements that have often been unevenly applied across different regions. For residents of KwaZulu-Natal, particularly those in areas frequently targeted by organized criminals, the events of January 16, 2026 offer a sense of relief. Fear has become an everyday companion for many South Africans, shaping how they live, work, and move through public spaces. Moments like these, where the state appears to assert control, resonate deeply with people who simply want to feel safe in their own communities. There is also a broader national implication. Crime in South Africa is not confined to provincial boundaries, and criminal syndicates often operate across regions. Successful operations in one province can disrupt networks elsewhere, provided they are followed up with sustained enforcement and cooperation between law enforcement agencies. If the momentum seen in KwaZulu-Natal continues, it could inspire similar approaches in other parts of the country. At the same time, expectations must be managed. One successful operation, no matter how well executed, cannot on its own end South Africa's crime crisis. Structural challenges such as unemployment, corruption, and inequality continue to fuel criminal activity. Policing is only one part of a much larger puzzle. Yet, effective law enforcement remains a critical component, and visible successes can help restore faith in institutions that many citizens have grown disillusioned with. As the arrested suspects recover under police guard and prepare to face the justice system, attention will likely shift to what happens next. Court proceedings, potential further arrests, and investigations into linked crimes will test whether this operation marks a turning point or remains an isolated incident. The public will be watching closely, not just for convictions, but for signs of consistency in how similar cases are handled going forward. Many people have expressed the belief that SAPS no longer plays games, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal. This perception, whether fully accurate or not, underscores the importance of leadership and clear messaging. When police actions align with public expectations of safety and accountability, trust begins to rebuild. When they do not, skepticism quickly returns. If operations like this continue, with the same level of planning, intelligence, and resolve, there is cautious hope that the high crime rates in South Africa could eventually decline. The road ahead remains long and complex, but for now, the events in Montclair stand as a powerful example of what focused and decisive policing can achieve when circumstances, leadership, and execution come together.